Behind me is one of 2 pumpers we built for Green Bay Fire Department in 2009. This one behind me is the first one we're going to receive, and it has 146,000 miles on it. Now, I was texting my customer before this video to get a little more context into the history of this truck and kind of the usership, and this one did an average run of around 6 miles, you know, out and back. I think the other one might have a shorter run trip, but that just gives you a sense of just how often this thing is leaving the station and coming back on runs. The reason I provide you with that context is because this is the first of 2 trucks that we're going to be taking the pump module and body off of and remounting them on brand new Spartan chassis. What I have here is basically the sales proposal and a couple of the change orders that they've added since contracting, because it's not just like a new truck that I can walk around and, you know, point out the obvious on. I want to get into what we're going to do to this truck. Now, the reason why they can do this with our product is that from the cab back, it's all 304 grade stainless steel. And the body and pump module are both bolted construction, and they carry a lifetime warranty, and they carry a lifetime subframe warranty. So as we're plucking these things off this chassis, we're going to be inspecting them, and if there's any sort of fatigue or failure, that's on CustomFIRE. We're going to stand behind that. If there's damage, and believe me, there usually is, you know, we'll fix it. But these bodies are extremely durable. How many of you have 146,000 miles on your pumper body and would put it back in service for another 146,000 miles? Now, Green Bay is happy with the Spartan chassis. It's served them well. It's an aluminum cab, so it does have corrosion. You know, aluminum corrodes regardless of what Siri will tell you, but stainless steel does not. And they've got the typical corrosion spots around the hardware, the fenders, some of the areas that just take a lot of abuse. And then the interior is pretty well beat up as well. I mean, this thing has been in aggressive service for 13 years. And if I were to take a poll of most firefighters, if I said, okay, we're gonna replace something on your truck, you're gonna get the same fire pump, you're gonna get the same hose bed height, you're gonna get the same ladder storage, you're gonna get the same intakes and discharges, or you can get a new chassis, or would you rather keep the chassis and replace everything else? Now, some manufacturers don't have that option, but we do with our pump module and body. So the truck's going to get all new lighting. It's going to get, you know, bed liner on the rub rails, kind of, you know, darken the appearance a little bit, make some, you know, design enhancements and aesthetic treatments. But the functionality is going to be largely the same. We are adding a discharge into the hose bed. Now, this truck has already been recertified. We did that as kind of a baseline inspection when it came in, because we are going to inspect the pump and recertify it. We're going to rebuild the valves. When we were laying out the scope of the project with the customer, you know, it was kind of a natural request on their part to say, you know, we should redo all the electrical. Because frankly, I mean, I bet most fire trucks need to be rewired after 13 years. And I said, hold on a sec, what doesn't work? What hasn't worked? Everything works great. Everything's worked great. I said, have you had some electrical issues on this truck? They said, no, everything's working fine. It always has. And I said, well, then let's leave everything intact. We still have the weatherproof Deutsch connectors, the ultrasonic welded dropouts on all the electrical, braided looms, color-coded wires, printed with the function, as-built wiring diagram. I mean, essentially, they're going to get a new truck out of this whole process. And we're even replacing the doors, the overlays, and a lot of the hardware and fenderettes and that sort of thing. But the overall design of the truck is really going to stay intact because they're happy with the design. And I'm looking at the numbers here, and you know, we contracted this project, including the chassis, was $355,000 per truck. You know, I know that if I spec'd out this truck new, it would approach or possibly exceed $700,000. So they're harnessing the value of their investment that they put into the pump module, the body, and all the man hours that they've already bought and paid for. I think this is a poignant topic in today's environment. You know, that stainless steel on that body was probably $1.70 or $1.50 a pound. Now it's $5 a pound. Do you really want to buy it all over again? Because where's it going to go once it leaves Green Bay? you know, it's going to go into a scrap heap or something. So I can see Julia is wondering how the heck she's going to edit all this stream of consciousness. But, you know, it's an unorthodox project, I guess, or at least, you know, it's not the common run-of-the-mill. We do have a truck in the plant right now that's about a 25-year-old truck, and they're adding ultra high pressure to it. We're converting from hinge doors to roll-up doors. We're going to replace all the lighting, do some paint work. You know, they're investing in the future of that truck, because that's a small town with about, you know, 7,000 miles on the truck. So it really, in some cases it makes sense to keep the chassis and update the body, which is what they're going to do. Now, back to Green Bay, they're just watching the tax dollars. They like the configuration. It's a known, and we're excited to see how this progresses, and so stay tuned. Love to hear your comments as always. I'm Wade with CustomFIRE. Thanks for watching. Was I saying? My meteorological clock is ticking. All right, COVID free.